What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is a special video because I am gonna show you a day in the life of a Psych NP, but this is gonna be in my own private practice, and it's special because I have a student today. He's been with me this is his second semester with me, so I just wanted to show you what he sees and what I see and how my day is. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's go. So since I live about 20-30 minutes away from my private practice, I actually have a PO box that I normally stop by. Well, it's a UPS box, and I need to go pick up my mail. So let's go ahead and do that first, and then we're gonna head over to the office. So stay with me. Hey guys, just got to my office and I'm finally opening up the mail that I just got, and I wanted to share with you a harsh reality of owning your own private practice. Obviously, there's huge pros to owning your own private practice, but at the same time, there are huge cons, and one of the cons are denied claims. So you're basically giving the patient a free appointment, obviously if it keeps on continuing to be denied. But you can always do rebuttals and you can always send in paperwork to make sure that you can get it approved. And sometimes it all depends on how diligent you are or how diligent your biller is. And sometimes you have to be able to be on them, your billers, or do certain things to get it approved. And that's kind of the case. So you're not going to necessarily get reimbursed on time. You have to go wait for the approval, and sometimes that takes 30 days. But I just want to be upfront with you guys. Sometimes having your own private practice is great, but sometimes it's bad because you get certain claims denied. So always take that into consideration, especially if you're interested in opening up your own private practice. Alrighty guys, so this is my office. As many of you guys know, I do sublease my office, so I only rent out one space. I am in the process of looking for another spot. I think we're in the process of signing paperwork, so I'm super excited. This office is extremely nice. My next office isn't going to be as nice, but at the same time, it's going to be our office. It's me and one other Psych NP and then a therapist, and this is my office in this building. So it's super nice. I like it here, but it's time to go on my own and do my own things. Alrighty, so I'm waiting for my student right now, and yeah, I came early just to kind of settle down. A lot of providers, they typically come in early and just review their schedule. So right now, my schedule, I have about 10 patients today. So I have 1 in person and the rest telehealth. I have 6 follow-ups, and then I have 4 new evaluations. Yes, 4 new evaluations. I'm starting to ramp up my practice, and I'm super excited because I'm starting to get way more patients. And I don't know, I think it's just because of COVID, and since it's already March, it's starting to pick up because people are starting to hit their deductibles, and now they're just able to kind of get the services that they need and be able to follow up sooner. So I'm super excited about that, and I just wanted to show you my journey. My student isn't even here yet. I'm still waiting for him. I told him my first patient is at 9, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and he's super chill dude, so you'll get to meet him. And yeah, so 6 new evaluations, 6 follow-ups and 4 new evaluations. So yeah, I'm excited, so stay tuned. So one thing that I did want to mention is I'm running my practice solo, so I don't have an office staff, I don't have an office manager, I don't have a receptionist, anything. I'm running it solo. And the bad thing about running it solo is I have to wear all hats, and that's kind of the downfall because I have to call patients, I have to do eligibility, I have to send stuff to my biller, I have to set appointments, take co-pays, and sometimes you have to do that in the beginning, and it can get tiresome. And I'm looking to hire a virtual assistant soon to be able to reach out and contact patients, but for now, I'm all solo. So that's something you think about, especially if you want to start off, because it doesn't make sense to pay something or someone so much money in the beginning when you don't have any patients. So I'm doing it all solo. So right now it's about noon. I saw 4 new patients already. I like to do my new patients in the beginning because I don't feel tired doing them. And I feel energized because it's the morning, and I just want to be able to talk to them, and it's great. I don't feel extremely tired. Like towards the end of the day, that's when I start to get more tired, and I don't want that to impact how I provide care, especially in my own private practice. 4 new patients, they were great. They were pretty much new onset depression, anxiety, or people that got psychologically tested, and they came back with results for ADHD and wanting to start on medication. So those were great, and those are pretty simple. Obviously for them, it's a little bit more complicated, but for us, given the amount of patients we see on a normal basis, we are able to provide high quality care, and we're able to do so, and it's great. So now I'm just about to have lunch, hang out with my student, and just kind of go from there. Alrighty guys, so I told you I was introducing you to my student. He's an awesome student. His name is Paul, and we just want to have a normal conversation, asking some questions just to get to know him, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, Paul, so tell me and tell my viewers a little bit about yourself.
Alright, first of all, hey guys, nice meeting you guys. Well, I started my career as an RN, nursing home, then psychiatric hospital, then medical side of nursing, and I finally ended up doing FNP. Then I finally realized that my passion is at psychiatry, so I made this transition to become a Psych NP. Yeah, so that's how I end up here.
So funny story is we actually worked together. I was a new grad Psych RN. He worked in nursing homes, and then he was one of the psych nurses with me, and we just developed this relationship and still kept in touch. And now I convinced him to be a Psych NP because he was doing FNP side, and I knew that he always wanted to work in psych, so I finally convinced him to do it. So it's cool. So he's with me 2 days a week, 1 day at my own private practice and 1 day at another private practice. Mine is a lot slower compared to the other private practice, and I wanted to kind of ask him, like, what do you think about clinicals and what do you like about it?
Well, first of all, I gotta thank him for giving me an opportunity to find this clinical, because there are a lot of students having a difficult time finding clinical sites, and many of them have to pay a good amount of money just to start doing their clinicals. So first of all, coming to this clinical site, I can actually interact with patients. That's the most important thing, I think, and that's the thing that I found most interesting. And also, I finally got to use what I learned from school. So I think that's my knowledge I learned from school is finally becoming useful here in a clinic. So that's also good. And another thing is interaction with my preceptor. I get to learn just so many things, medications, and there's all those clinical pearls, and not just that, like, life lessons, and probably what he did the best, and these mistakes he made in the past, and how he became so good, right, like this. So yeah, that's, I would say these are the ones that I found very thankful to coming to this clinical site.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, especially when it comes to clinicals. Like, you can learn so much textbook wise, but if you're not necessarily understanding how to apply it and how it's useful in the real life, then it's kind of hard. So I'm glad that he was able to kind of experience it. And the good thing is he's in two different types of settings. Although they're both outpatient private practice, one's a lot faster and one's a lot slower, where you have way more time with patients. You can talk to them a little bit more and just kind of interact and gain the sense of who they are as a person. Because in the faster settings, you're going to be basically asking questions, diagnosing relatively fast, and you don't necessarily get time to kind of do things because you need to keep pace and being able to see them and adequately document things like that. So based off of your observations, what do you think about the two different places that you're precepting in?
Yeah, I think this is a perfect balance, I would say. Of course, I have to learn things, one by one, slowly, first of all. And second, once I go to the other clinic, one of the clinics that is busier, I get to, start thinking faster. And always on the go. And then I think that's a good thing in a way, because it prepares me for my future career. Yeah.
So where do you want to end up?
Oh boy, if I can get I would say both. I mean, if I can work in two different environments, I'll never get bored. If I start working in this kind of chill environment, there will be some times that I want this, I gotta do this, I gotta go a little faster. Then work in the other environment, it's a fast paced. Then once I get sick of it, then come back and do a slower but a more chill environment. So I think if I can get two jobs in two different environments, I think they'll be good. They'll be great.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that's where I started off. I started off in a relatively fast environment, so I got to see a lot more patients a lot faster, which is great for me because I felt like the more exposure I got to seeing patients, that's how I was going to learn the fastest. Because if I started off in an environment where it's extremely slow, only seeing 4 to 5 patients a day, it'd be a lot harder to learn because I'm just so used to those patients and that process. But if I'm seeing anywhere from 15 to 20 to 25 patients a day, I'm exposed to different combination of medications, how to titrate up, titrate down, how to adjunct medications, certain side effects, and if the medication works. So that's how I liked it. And now that I'm starting my own private practice, I'm slowing down a lot. I'm probably only seeing anywhere from 8 to 12 patients, and I actually get to take my sweet time with them. And it's nice because they're my own. I get to know the ins and outs, and I get to provide some supportive therapy and psychotherapy. So it's great in that sense. So he is an awesome student. He's learning so much. I hope he's learning so much, and we'll see how he does in the real world. But he's awesome. He's always willing to learn. So yeah, I'm glad that you were able to come to my channel, speak to my viewers, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Paul.
Well, thank you. Thanks for inviting.
Alrighty guys, so it's the end of my day now, and I saw all 10 patients. There were no no-shows. I had to, like I said, I had to do everything since I'm running solo. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about the cons of having your own private practice. I know people try to shed light on so many pros, which there are so many pros, but there can be cons, and especially for solo private practice owners. So the first con is obviously you have to do everything yourself, especially in the beginning. You have to check eligibility, you have to take all the phone calls. Obviously you don't have to do this, but at the same time, there's no point in spending so much money to be able to do this, but you are pretty much running it solo. The second con is denied claims. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes you get a lot of denied claims and sometimes you get a lot of approved claims, and for the most part, having these denied claims can be worrisome, especially if you're constantly getting them. But like I said, you have to be diligent with your billers to be able to kind of understand why there are certain denied claims and how you're going to be able to recover or recuperate those costs, or recuperate the expenses or whatever it may be. But how are you going to recover those costs, pretty much? And another con is, like I said, I kind of want to go back to you're doing everything. And sometimes you have to work way more hours compared to what you would do if you just had a normal job. So you have to do so many different things, like all those things. And sometimes you doing those claims, you doing the insurance verification, you taking co-pays, you calling patients to complete their intake paperwork, you sending out intake paperwork, you filling out all the forms, it can be tiresome, and that's something you always have to deal with until you can get enough days that are full to be able to hire someone on and be able to kind of manage all of those things. And like I said, you can totally do it yourself, or you can totally hire someone for the very get-go. But now that more and more people are starting to ask for more money, especially with the minimum wage going up, I think it's $15 here in California now, you have to pay that money, and sometimes it doesn't make sense depending on how many patients you have. And not to mention that when you're first starting off, you have to wait the credentialing period, and the credentialing period can take anywhere from 3 to 9 months depending on the insurance, and that can take forever. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of shed light on a lot of some of the cons. Obviously there are way more cons, but there are way more pros than cons, but I just want to shed the light on my cons that I'm experiencing from the very get-go. And I talked to a lot of new providers that open up their practice, and they kind of go through the same thing. So I just wanted to kind of give you some of the cons that I experienced and what many others experience. Well guys, have a wonderful day. Until next time, bye.